Hidden within the gilded corridors of the British monarchy, a storm brews. Prince William, known for his warm public demeanor, faces a chilling decision. The outcome threatens to shatter peace and alter the future of the royal family, forever a shocking gambit against the looming shadow of Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall. Discover how decades of tension boil over into a cold resolution. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. A delicate dance unfolds behind the grandeur of royal titles and the stoicism of tradition. Within the House of Windsor lies an intricate web, where courtesies mask the silent duel of ambitions and duties. Prince William, adored by many for his earnest simplicity, finds himself in the eye of a silent storm. There exists a dichotomy between his public self smiling, waving, the embodiment of approachable royalty, and the man grappling with burdens of birthright and morality. Since his youth, the shadow of royal protocols has stretched long over him, whispering expectations and responsibilities at every turn. Yet, beneath the polished veneer of ceremonial obligations and smiles for the camera, questions of legacy and personal conviction simmer, demanding answers decades in the making. Meanwhile, Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, stands as a formidable presence within the family. Her journey from being a whispered secret to a cornerstone of the royal institution is nothing short of extraordinary. Long viewed with skepticism, her strategic positioning and quiet resilience have earned her a significant influence. Over the years, Camilla has deftly navigated the tides of scandal and acceptance, emerging as both a stabilizing factor and a disruptor of traditional expectations. Her influence, seemingly serene, penetrates deeper into the marrow of the monarchy than many are willing to acknowledge. She commands respect in circles where whispers once spread like wildfire, a testament to her calculated resilience and perseverance. Yet, it's her vision, often appearing to conflict with the changing tides represented by William, that seeds quiet unrest, a subtle clash of ideologies where tradition meets modernity. As the Windsor narrative unfolds, a brewing conflict emerges, not a mere struggle of wills, but a poignant clash of visions for the monarchy's future. Whispers echo through quiet halls, hinting at a decisive moment that looms like a storm over a calm sea. Those who know speak softly of an impending choice, one that could recalibrate the very essence of royal duty and identity. The gentle ripple of anticipated change feels like a rising tide, pulling at the foundations, testing loyalties, and redefining what it truly means to bear the crown in a world where the past and future pull at each other with frenetic intensity. William's fervent introspections paint a vivid canvas of a man torn between the path laid out for him and the heart that yearns for authenticity and reform. Close confidants share tales of his late-night contemplations by Kensington's windows, where he envisions a monarchy attuned to the pulse of a modern world. It's here, in the solitude of thought, that he evaluates the chessboard of his heritage, each piece a representation of history, accountability, and love. One can't help but wonder, which role will triumph as these familial and ideological tectonics shift beneath the polished marble floors of Buckingham? As the world watches the fade of royal harmony, the true battle of wills begins to surface within the age-old monarchy. The past casts a long shadow over the House of Windsor. A tale of love and loyalty turned sour now haunts the new generation. Dive into the hidden archives of emotion, where William's decision is tethered inextricably to the legacy of his mother Diana. In the hallowed halls of royal heritage, where the echo of Diana's footsteps never truly fades, Prince William finds himself at an emotional crossroads. His values, like stones thrust from the turbulent waters of his mother's tumultuous life, steadfastly shape his every decision. Diana, the people's princess, left behind a legacy far greater than jewelry or titles. She instilled in William a moral compass grounded in empathy, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to the people who look up to the throne as their beacon of hope. As William navigates the stormy seas of royal duty, an unseen tension simmers beneath his princely facade. The intricacies of his relationship with Camilla, now queen consort, are laced with unspoken grievances. For William, Camilla represents an element of the past that continues to wound a thorn that scratches at his childhood memories like a relentless ghost. Every courteous nod and every polite smile exchanged hides an undercurrent of hidden history, one unabashedly steeped in the heartbreak of his mother's own royal tale. But it's not merely a dance of surface propriety. William's struggle is deeply internal, as he wrestles with the two halves of his soul, one aching to preserve his mother's legacy, and the other yearning to chart a path forward that could mend old wounds and usher in a new era for his family. To understand the depth of William's turmoil is to view through Camilla's eyes, to see her as more than a name whispered in hushed tones of scandal once past. Her rise to the apex of the palace wasn't merely adorned with roses, but paved through relentless criticisms and whispered judgments echoing through palace corridors. Camilla's perspective is one of quiet resilience of a figure determined to step beyond shadows she never intended to cast. Still, her journey cannot escape the silhouettes of Diana's legacy, eternally intertwined with the heartbreak and hope of a crown that seeks redemption. Secret conversations held in oak-panelled rooms hide testimonies of legacy that few dare whisper on the wind. William and Camilla's discreet dialogues are imbued with a gravity rarely afforded them by an observing world. Yet here lies the fuel to their tenuous bond, teetering on the edge of resolution or rupture. Shadows of disputes, kept well from the public eye, form chains that bind these two in a dance as old as royalty itself. Yet with every conversation and every suppressed quarrel, a storm brews a confrontation that history has written into its script. Foreshadowing beckons from the darkened corners of regal tradition. It whispers of an impending revelation, a pivotal confrontation whose roots dig deep into the past, yearning to spill forth into the light of day. William's internal landscape is one painted with profound conflicts, yet held strong by his dedication to his mother's teachings and a vision of reconciliation. The monarchic stage is set. The spectre of history watches with bated breath as the refined veneer of royal protocol braces for seismic shifts that will redefine royal dynamics and chart paths anew. The weight of history is but a prelude to the seismic shifts waiting to reshape the royal dynamics. Behind the fortified walls of the palace, where history is etched in every corner, whispers begin to ricochet with unprecedented fervour. The echoes of rebellion are growing, a soft but ominous chorus that challenges the status quo. At its epicenter stands Prince William, a figure poised between tradition and transformation, his mind a battleground where options and obligations wage relentless war. Under the guise of courtly duties, he forges discreet alliances with a select group of royals and trusted advisors, each bound by a shared vision of a future monarchy, one less shadowed by the enduring influence of Camilla. In this clandestine web, the palace starts to crack under the weight of an us versus them dichotomy. It's no longer just an ideological clash, it's a deep-rooted conviction that pulses through the corridors, a knowing look shared among allies whenever Camilla's influence is mentioned. These secret gatherings, held under veiled pretexts far from prying eyes, begin to resemble the rhythm of a rebellion. Strategies are whispered between breaths, as plans unfurl like scrolls in the night, swapping intelligence to outmaneuver and eventually dismantle the hold Camilla has so meticulously cultivated. Yet within this conspiratorial embrace lies a profound turmoil, weighing heavily on William. He feels consumed by the opposing forces of heart and duty. His past and present selves vie for dominance, the struggle becoming more profound with each decision. The pressure is unyielding, an invisible crown that burns hotter with every whispered vow to protect the future of the realm he cherishes. His resolve, steely as it is, stands vulnerable against the raw emotional toll exacted by these maneuvers. Shadows of doubt creep in, pulling him deeper into a conflict he cannot openly acknowledge, but feels in his very marrow. Supporting William in this audacious bid to reclaim the crown are key allies, each uniquely positioned to shape the outcome. Among them, confidantes and strategists form a clandestine coalition, strengthening a cause cloaked in secrecy. These allies, bound by a mutual desire to pivot the palace's trajectory, inject both hope and complexity into the unfolding narrative, Every meeting, every exchanged glance, heightens the stakes and sharpens the conflict. The stage is set for an inevitable confrontation, a reckoning simmering just beneath the surface. An emotional showdown looms, where unspoken grief intertwines with unbridled ambition, as old alliances crumble and new loyalties are forged in the crucible of palace politics. The silent revolt trudges inexorably towards the public eye. It is a tense, silent storm on the verge of breaking. As old alliances fray and new loyalties are forged, the unseen battle inches closer to a public reckoning. Tensions reach a boiling point as the royal household fractures from within. With lines drawn and loyalties tested, the escalating rift now threatens to erupt publicly. Discover the fragile web of relationships that hold the monarchy together or tear it asunder. The family that once stood unified under the crown now echoes with whispered arguments and tense silences. The grand halls, once a sanctuary of regal dignity, have become an emotional battlefield where every glance carries the weight of history and disappointment. Family dinners that once brimmed with wit and warmth now simmer with an unspoken hostility. Silent confrontations play out in hushed tones, each word carefully chosen to wound without breaking the facade. They gather under the guise of familial unity, yet their hearts tell different tales, some of betrayal, others of relentless loyalty. One could feel the tremors of betrayal like aftershocks deep beneath the palace floors. In these gilded corridors, tradition clashes headlong with the desperation of modernity. Circling rumours, each more incendiary than the last, paint a picture of unexpected treachery from those whose allegiances were deemed unshakable. In quiet corners and behind closed doors, the fragile constellations of trust shatter, leaving shards scattered across their perfect, polished floors. Unyielding tension forges alliances as unbreakable as they are unexpected, with some family members finding new strength in their staunch loyalty. They stand like sentinels, determined to hold the line against whatever tide approaches. Despite the churning beneath their feet, royal appearances remain a display of serenity and sophistication. Yet behind every resplendent garment and courteous smile lies an undercurrent of discord as raw as a fresh wound. Public outings become a theatre, a game of masks where each family member plays their part to perfection. But beneath the surface, whispers of discontent ripple outward, threatening their carefully curated image. The crowds see only the grandeur, blissfully unaware of the tempest brewing barely out of sight, as the family walks through a world oblivious to the gathering storm. It is in this cauldron of unease that William stands at a crossroads. His patience wears thin. The weight of his legacy presses hard against duty's ever-narrowing path. Each feigned smile, each rehearsed line chisels away at the resolve that binds him to his heritage. The harrowing spectre of his family fracturing seems too close to ward off. Yet, within this maelstrom of uncertainty lies his moment, a juncture where decisions will reshape the very fabric of power and tradition. Eyes focus on him now, the scion poised between history's weight and an uncertain future. The world watches, unaware that every step they see is but the shadow of a deeper struggle. For William, caught in this tumult, the feud is more than a royal affair. It is a personal odyssey toward truth, a revelation waiting to unfold. All eyes turn to him, the prince. Rumours abound, speculation festers, and the whispers outside the palace walls grow louder with each passing day. Each day passes as a countdown to an announcement that promises to change everything the monarchy stands for. The moment of decision arrives, unannounced yet long anticipated, like a storm brewing silently over the horizon. It is not a declaration delivered in haste, but a meticulously crafted maneuver devised in the corridors of quiet contemplation. Prince William, steady yet inscrutable, has been wrestling with the weight of his legacy, a burden carried not with ease, but with the contemplation of duty and destiny. Within the hallowed confines of the royal chambers, time seems to stretch and contract as William makes his move, the air heavy with the anticipation of what he is about to reveal. and for a fleeting moment, the swirling chaos of history holds its breath. The silence that follows is chilling, a stark contrast to the maelstrom that rages just beneath the surface. Camilla, ever the veteran of palace politics, feels the icy tendrils of William's resolve wrap around the fragile threads of her influence, threatening to unravel the delicate tapestry she has woven over years. The family assembles like pawns on a grand chessboard, each with their battles to fight, but none expecting the magnitude of what is to come. Eyes meet in a silent, disbelieving communion, torn between personal loyalties and the seismic shift echoing through Charles's legacy. In William's eyes gleams not the coldness of a calculated tactic, but the burning passion of a prince determined to reshape the future. This decision is not merely a proclamation, it's a revolution. A searing statement piercing through the heart of royal tradition, a clear and undeniable line drawn in the sands of succession. With deliberate precision, William has redefined the rules of engagement. This day marks the arrival of a new epoch, where unyielding modernity challenges the time-worn tapestries of the monarchy. Those gathered around understand that this is more than just a familial discord, it's the dawn of an evolution that challenges the essence of power and blood. The royal succession, once a clear and stately procession, now quakes beneath his strategic blow, sending shockwaves through gilded corridors and hallowed halls alike. Inside the palace, disbelief hangs like a fog, invading the minds of courtiers and kin who had underestimated the young prince's boldness. Denial lingers on lips accustomed to comfort and expectations, aligning with traditions they assumed would forever remain unchanged. There is an uneasy acknowledgement that nothing will ever be the same, tentative acceptance swirling amidst murmurs and whispers, each one attempting to wrest control back from the change now unyielding and inevitable. They grapple with the fallout, caught between traditional loyalty and this unexpected manifesto of independence. Outside the palace walls, the world spins faster, its pace quickening with the rapid pounding of the nation's collective heartbeat. The public, thirsty for change yet wary of its tide, watches in rapt attention as media outlets spill over with speculation and incredulity. Headlines blaze with the news of William's audacity, both a salve to modernist yearnings and a thorn to those clutching nostalgia's reassuring cloak. The announcement reverberates, transformed from royal decree into public discourse, staking its claim in the annals of history. This wasn't merely palace intrigue. This was a reshaping of the monarchy's very soul. As the enormity of the event sinks into the marrow of national consciousness, the historic significance cannot be overstated. This moment is seismic, severing the reins of old and charging towards an unfamiliar future, as the monarchy drifts away from precedent towards uncharted waters. Today, reverberations reach the rafters of Parliament and echo within the hearts of the common man, marking a crossroads where tradition dances with revolution, partners in a new story yet to be told. As the dust settles from William's bold decision, ripples spread, ushering a new era of uncertainty and change. In the shadow-dappled corridors of power, where whispers can ignite wars, Camilla found herself at a crossroads. Blindsided by decisions that threatened to unspool her carefully woven tapestry of influence, she stood unyielding, a silent sentinel in the fray of royal intrigues. Her heart, a battlefield of emotion and steely resolve, beat with the fervor of one who refuses to yield ground without strategy and subtlety guiding her. Each night, under the cloak of darkness and within the sanctuary of her thoughts, Camilla crafted a formidable counteroffensive. Every move, meticulously plotted, was driven by an indomitable belief that her role in the royal narrative was not finished. It was simply evolving. Her strategy was rooted in the unseen alliances she forged, gathering strength from quarters least expected, the overlooked, the underestimated, and those who quietly disapproved of the shifting tides. They became the bedrock of her campaign. With whispers of loyalty shared behind closed doors, Camilla built a network of support, weaving it into a protective shield against the storm. Yet as she rallied these allies, her world was steeped in emotional turmoil, a paradox of courage and vulnerability colliding within her. In the solitude of her chamber, she faced her fears. Each doubt, each tear a fleeting ghost in the relentless pursuit of dignity. These private battles contrasted sharply with the public composure she maintained, painting a portrait of stoic endurance. But the tension was palpable, rippling through the royal court like a bowstring drawn taut, threatening to release chaos with a whispered word. Camilla's actions, viewed through lenses of skepticism and intrigue, began introducing complexities that no one had anticipated. Conversations in hushed tones, exchanged glances in crowded halls, all were testament to the questions her maneuvers raised. Could she regain her standing? Would these calculated risks end in triumph or despair? Despite this tumult, Camilla moved forward with an unexpected grace, her heart a fortress, her spirit unbreakable. The equilibrium within the royal family wavered, each decision she made sending ripples through the intricate web of relationships. Her presence alone was a reminder that beneath still waters lay deep, uncharted currents capable of reshaping the landscape. Yet, the true brilliance of her counterplay lay in its unpredictability, for Camilla herself became the enigma, her intentions guarded, her next steps veiled in shadows. Amidst this shifting dynamic, an unsettling sensation crept quietly into the royal halls. There was something more. An ominous presence lingering at the periphery of her awareness. As if the world, sensing the tremors beneath Camilla's poised veneer, poised to unleash a new player onto the stage. Her mind, sharp and ever vigilant, contemplated this new threat, a wildcard capable of altering everything. Her heart, steadfast through the storm, remained ready. As Camilla orchestrated her next move with deft precision, the stakes increased tenfold. Her continued recalibration of power inspired both admirers and adversaries, setting the stage for an escalation that promised to ensnare all those who stood too close. And as the future loomed uncertain yet vividly alive with possibilities, her story turned another page. The remainder of her journey awaited in the twilight, a place where destiny and choice became inseparable companions, and the royal pecking order prepared for a shift no one could yet foresee. As she stood overlooking the dawning horizon, Camilla held her breath, for she knew that soon every whisper, every loyal nod and exchanged glance must converge into a crescendo of unimagined consequence, a symphony still to be conducted. The time was nearly ripe, and the world would watch, waiting for the tale of Camilla, resilient and unyielding, to unravel its climax. In the dim corridors of power, where whispers echo louder than proclamations, a new player emerges from the ethereal shadows, a figure cloaked in mystery and potent with intrigue. Neither William nor Camilla, both veterans of royal chess games, had foreseen this sudden emergence. As though conjured by the very winds of fate, this unheralded presence begins to weave strands of unease through the fabric of the royal conflict. But who is this enigmatic persona with the audacity to step into the path of crowned destinies? This is the question that sprawls through the palace like a tendril of smoke, unsettling all who breathe it in. Hushed conversations mark the beginning of the tale, supposing truths too dangerous to face openly. Could this be a distant kinship resurrected from forgotten genealogies, or an outsider whose sway reaches deep into royal confines? The quiet gasp of recognition suggests a patchwork of both a confidant, perhaps, wise in both the art of persuasion and the account of ancient secrets. Neither William nor Camilla can claim full allegiance of this shadow, yet the bonds imperfect, secretive indicate a past intermingled with royal twilight. Conversations slide behind closed doors, murmured late at night in rooms where history echoes too loudly to ignore. They kindle a fire that could easily scorch old alliances, tilting destinies with a mere whisper. The weight of this revelation presses heavily upon William and Camilla, caught in a dance of apprehension and curiosity. For William, the new player represents both an unforeseen threat and a beacon of hope, a force that could either bolster his vision of the monarchy or unravel the very rules he has sworn to uphold. Camilla, drawn between the subtleties of power and the quest for stability, sees in this new actor a mirror that reflects her deepest fears and aspirations. The rest of the royal echelon, sensing the shift, hold their breath in a collective anticipation that grips the court with a suspenseful urgency. It is a storm before the storm, a reckoning not calculated in any royal ledger. The wildcard moves as gossamer threads of rumour suggest untold tools and forbidden alliances. Such secrets, if breathed into light, could tip the traditional scales, rendering even kings speechless and mighty queens unsettled. What influence do they wield? Is it mere knowledge, sharp as a viper but slippery to grasp, or an unseen army standing ready for a call only this veiled agent can make? The court reflects a silent conspiracy, where knowledge is the toy of monarchs and every whisper belies a deeper, darker allegiance. But beneath this, underlying currents of a grander design hint not merely at a shift in power, but at a possible devastation of established monarchy itself. The deeper games remain unrevealed to all but those involved. Motives, like phantoms, evade solid comprehension but tease with the gravity they promise. Is it ambition that guides the wildcard, or a loyalty more profound than public duty could capture? The mysteries pile upon uncertainties, each layer begging to be peeled back at the risk of unleashing chaos. And as this shadow dances with destiny, a simmering question hangs in the air: who truly pulls the strings? For now, only the darkness answers with its silent, knowing smile. With the wildcard's motives cloaked and uncertain, the tides of power teeter, barring a volatile change only one figure can manage. Prince William steps into his new role, forging a path destined to become his legacy. Amidst the lingering tension and unrest that once shadowed the hallowed halls, William emerges, a figure resolute and visionary, his eyes firmly set on the horizon where the past and future converge. An unexpected calmness precedes his every move as he embraces the mantle of leadership, knowing well that each decision cast in the present will ripple into history, defining not just his reign, but the very essence of what monarchy could be. This is a time for transformation. A time when aspirations entwine with a history long tethered to tradition, compelling William to not merely dream of a renewed dynamic, but to breathe life into a reimagined royal era. His vision is both revolutionary and reflective, seeking to bridge the chasm between a majestic past and a modernized future. It is with an unwavering desire that he seeks to shift the royal family's public image into something more approachable, more engaged, steering clear of historical grandeur that distances and instead driving forward a legacy of relatability and action. William's aspirations chart a course toward reconciliation, a mending of fibres once frayed by the tumult of yesteryears. And so begins a subtle reshaping of royal protocols, a recalibration of expectations that allows the monarchy to find its place in a rapidly evolving world. Inside the walls of tradition, once echoing with dissent, now harbour whispers of innovation. William's initiatives are, indeed, groundbreaking, challenging the status quo not to undermine, but to empower. With each initiative, he carves out a new space for the royal family, one filled with both promise and responsibility. And amidst these changes stand those whose lives must realign with the tides of this new order. Camilla's role subtly shifts, and through the tumultuous journey, they find moments where reconciliation becomes the bridge to the future, the royal family standing united in purpose, having mended what once seemed irreparably torn. Yet, the shadow of leadership is long, and the impacts profound. For those sidelined by his earlier choices, there is a moment of reckoning. They remain caught in a delicate balance, where past grievances meet new assignments, where their own futures are recalibrated by William's sweeping vision. Still, under his watchful eye, the monarchy is less a gilded enclosure and more a tapestry of many voices, reflecting a harmonious blend of dissent and unity. In the glow of these decisive actions, William's legacy begins to take form, sculpted not from stone, but from the fabric of human connection and purpose. It becomes a legacy that speaks not just of power, but of cohesion, where success and suffering intertwine to create a monarchy reborn, vibrant and visionary. Through trials, triumphs and teetering precipices, King William stands tall, an embodiment of change, steering the monarchy toward uncharted seas with a steady hand. As William solidifies his reign, the stage is set for fresh beginnings awaiting the unforeseen reshuffles of destiny. In the wake of seismic shifts, the echoes of William's coldest decision reverberate through history. We analyze the long-term impacts on the royal family, public perception, and a legacy etched into the annals of monarchy. Could this truly be the decision that reshapes an era? Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. The hesitant whispers turned to fervent debates, and the quiet corridors of the palace resonated with the echoes of one man's relentless pursuit of change. This wasn't merely a choice, but a formidable pivot in history, a marker unyielding against the passage of time, tilting the balance of royal dynamics into an uncharted territory. Once a bastion, steadfast in tradition, the monarchy found itself enveloped in a tempest of change, its members grappling with the consequences of William's resolute stance. Relationships were transformed, alliances redefined, and amidst the flutter of whispers, the realm held its breath, eager yet cautious, as their luminous monarch embraced his vision, crafting a paradigm never endured before. As the intention behind his actions unraveled, the public hungrily absorbed its implications both in loyalty and opposition. The monarchy's once unshakable facade now seemed vulnerable, fragile under the weight of public scrutiny and an unforgiving spotlight. Thus began the dual journey of admiration and skepticism, intersecting at a crossroads where admiration for his foresight met doubt, questioning if he could navigate such tempestuous tides. His vision, no mere whim, quickly transitioned into the blueprint, crafting the monarchy's modern fabric, a tangible dream of bridging centuries-old tradition with the relentless pulse of new age aspirations. It was this evolution, meticulously folded into the royal terminology, that stood testament to his ambition, though not without its inevitable, poignant cost. Amidst the sweeping tides of reform, Camilla's role surfaced with questions of legacy, her narrative forever intertwined with the bold strokes of William's era-defining moment. Once trailing in the shadows of royal scrutiny, her fate now flickered with a warmth that even history's harsh lens could not dim. Her journey echoed with subtle reflections of courage, a quiet resilience punctuating pages in the royal saga that were, until now, seldom spoken. Parallel to the monarchy's transformation, she emerged not as a relic of past controversies, but as a nuanced figure who navigated the corridors of influence, balancing tradition with the delicate art of contemporary significance. Her story, woven through a new narrative, left an indelible imprint, reinforcing that the legacies bred within these gilded walls are not solely penned by crowns and titles, but by the choices and fortitude of those who stand in their gleam. The public and media retrospectives offered not only a narrative on the historical significance of this tumultuous period, but also illuminated the royal house's changing dynamics, their lenses focusing on snapshots of a kingdom recalibrating its heart and soul. This epoch extended beyond a mere reflection in history's mirror. It drew on previously unwritten chapters, interpreting the delicate dance of past lessons with present-day realities, ensuring even the skeptics could discern the evolving signature of monarchy. As William's cold decision matured into a legacy potent enough to etch a stamp upon the age, insiders emerged to chronicle whispers from within their revelations, dripping with a poignant nostalgia that carried the weight of unshed tears and unseen victories. For those intricately woven into this narrative fabric, these changes fused hope with tremor, underlining not only a passage of time, but a distinctly different rhythm now inscribed into the heart of a dynasty that threads a new narrative amid tradition. Just as the monarchy's narrative continues unfazed, this pivotal choice etches its legacy, a testament to this era of transformation and trials awaiting its next chapter. In its wake rests the silent promise that echoes through the royal halls and beyond, pulling at the threads of history with a slow, determined certainty, marking its indelible presence upon the annals of royalty forevermore. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you in next one.